There seems to be a trend in Speedway at the moment. Well, let's be honest, a trend in British Speedway. Now, a rider riding for his other team in Poland scores really well, and maybe that team manages to get to playoffs and so on. And all of a sudden, this rider has an injury that he's been carrying for a while, apparently. Becomes too much for the rider to ride in the Premiership, but it's okay for him to ride in Poland. The latest victim of this malaise seems to be Benjamin Basso, and he gets a 28-day ban for his crime. But is that really a punishment for the rider? He's probably not going to be riding here anyway. It's actually more a way of protecting the British club that he rides for, which is fair enough. However, I have to say that if it happened the other way around, that the Polish League would at the very least put a hefty fine on the rider, something that would both deter and punish this from happening again. So should we be looking at something like this for our league? Only in Speedway. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern, sponsored by So-Called Studios. We've got a special guest in the studio today.
You're here every week, I thought so.
Oh, wow. You can see what I have to put up with. Everybody say hello to Elliot. Say hello.
Hello.
There you go. Many of you will know Elliot from his many appearances on the Shout Box. And I just thought it'd be a good idea to invite him in because he seems to go here, there and everywhere. How many Speedway matches have you watched this month, Elliot?
This month?
This month?
5, this 6 this month.
Okay, we're right, and we're with the 13th. The 13th.
13th, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I did know that was today for some reason. So, yeah, I mean, you get around, Elliot.
Yes, correct.
And I'm guessing you'll be at the GP on Saturday.
Yes, that's right. I'll be there.
Okay, so, I mean, just sort of talking to you about all the different places that you've been, what do you reckon? You're not allowed to say Birmingham. What's your favourite Speedway track that you visited over this season?
Probably say Manchester, Bellew.
Okay, well, that's predictable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because
They did a great week there with the Speedway Nations, trying to do something with the battling weather they've had and the racing that they've shown, which is quite tremendous as well, with the conditions.
Okay.
We've got somebody in tonight who knows what they're talking about. Is that what you're talking?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe. Do you know what you're talking about, Elliot?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes, and he's not shy to
Good
say
job
it.
somebody does.
Right, we've got a few things on the shout box, so we'll just get through some of those.
Yep.
John Hope, Piotr Pawlicki, his condition is fear of riding as a heat leader that he was signed to be. He has taken the P out of us all this season. Get rid of now. Yes, bring Ben Barker in, a crowd pleaser. If you go to a restaurant to order food and
See more?
view menu, then don't like what's on offer, you leave, maybe never to return. Speedway is like a restaurant. View the menu. We can't do anything about it. We've got 75% of the matches have been run. Not allowed to sign other riders.
Stuck with him now, aren't they?
So, as you know, one of the things I always say is I don't like to speak ill of riders, so I'm not going to as such in this case either, but as a supporter it's not great.
Well, it isn't now, and unfortunately it's sort of following a trend from a decade ago when he was at Wolves, doing exactly the same things in that one. The only difference really was his performances for Wolves were much better than they have been for Birmingham.
You could possibly excuse it a little bit if he'd been performing well. He hasn't.
Yeah.
He's been performing well.
There's been glimpses, hasn't there, of his... I mean, he's undoubtedly a quality rider, there's no two ways about that, but he just hasn't shown it anywhere near enough on a consistent basis.
No.
Jeff Daniels' next rider to get a meaningless ban will be Pawlicki. He rode on Saturday Polish Championship. Sunday, his Polish club then missed Birmingham yesterday, but riding in Sweden tonight.
What?
Yeah, I mean...
Put him whenever you want to put him.
I think it's a
absolutely.
condition that involves going over water, doesn't it? So I think it seems to be the...
I disagree that if he got a ban, it would be meaningless because it would allow Birmingham to get guests in.
But what kind of desk? Because the average is not the best.
Well, we'd have to get. I mean,
And all the other clubs are riding.
It's better, but his average is not great because he's not been riding that well. So it would still be a like for like.
Yes.
Possibly better, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we covered him quite well with rider replacement yesterday. Would have covered him even better if he hadn't got excluded in the heat.
First stage three.
Yeah. Lambert. No. Lampard. There you go. Oh, my brain's gone. So it says, David Albrighton says if Basso had missed a Polish meeting, he would have had the Polish mafia after him. So I don't want to say anything about that. I don't want the Polish mafia coming after me.
I think people saw the scenes at Leszno over the weekend. Obviously, Leszno were relegated from the Extraliga, and there was a lot of unhappy fans in. I think the meeting got abandoned because of issues in the crowd.
Really?
I mean, Leszno have been a dominant force in the Extra League for so long. I think not too long ago they won 4 league championships in a row, and this season they've been relegated. So, a disappointing end to what's been a great period in their history, really.
Craig Smith says, what I don't like this season is riders have committed to riding in the UK, then made, thank you very much, excuses not to ride in the UK and then riding on the continent. I really think the Polish clubs have a big influence on riders, but I think UK Speedway needs to get tougher than these riders or clubs have clauses in contracts to prevent this happening. I mean, sort of what I was saying at the beginning, really. That rule there, that 28-day rule is there specifically to protect the club, and I'm all for that.
Yeah. It does beg the question, though, because Kings Lynn have had quite a few things, haven't they? I mean, this is obviously the statement that's been there. Why is there no similar sort of statement being released for Pavlicki at Birmingham?
Answers on a postcard.
Yeah. But this sort of thing I don't seem to like is Poland, when they say, we have a arranged meeting on a Thursday, but they have to ride in Poland when they're actually contracted to us as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I finish. I mean, it's only in Speedway. I can't.
Well, my argument has always been the priority should be to the date that was in the calendar first.
Yes,
that's a good point.
If the British date is before the
I'm
Polish
sure that's
date,
how it used to be.
Yeah,
but of course, Poland.
You are dealing with an animal, really, in Speedway in Poland. They are, love them or hate them, they are the dominant nation. That's the nation where the big money is, really.
But they will kill the sport off.
Well, if they've got nobody else to race against, then yeah.
They will kill the sport off. Kings Lynn certainly got a better guess last night with Harris in for Basso. Chris Harris guesting, surely not.
Yeah.
Good God.
I think he was born guessing, wasn't he? I think so.
Well, isn't he destined since I've been wide, he's destined every meeting, Monday and Thursday at the minute?
Yeah, I think so. I think he guesses every week. I mean, he's certainly a busy boy.
Still a class act though, Bomber. There's no two ways about that. So.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody loves him because of the efforts he puts in. I tell you, I was talking to somebody about this last night, and I think Tom Brennan's a little bit in the same mould. As he loves...
That's a big call.
In the sense that he loves riding his bike.
Yeah.
He loves putting it out there, never gives up.
Yeah.
I think the one thing he's done at the minute is flying in and out the country every day, so I think it's just draining him a little bit. I don't know.
Clive Woodier says, did Pavlicki get a doctor's note? Yes, he did. Yes. I've actually seen the doctor's note, just...
What did it say? Or was it in Polish?
Ouch. I've seen it. I didn't read it.
Isn't it some form of family illness or something I've heard as well?
There's been all sorts of rumours. Sickness is basically what I heard. I mean, it's what you, when you want to take a sickie, it's what you ring up and say to the boss, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, I've been. It's all coming out both ends. Whatever. But
and I've got a doctor off my mum, a note off my mum as well.
Yeah. Bomber's lucky to be in one piece after last week. I mean, got to say, did you see that crash with them on
wasn't it?
That was how they got up for that.
Yeah.
And how is he back riding 24 hours later?
I think we should talk a little bit before we get onto the GPs.
Yeah.
Let's get last night's match out of the way. Mm-hmm. For a neutral, it must have been quite an entertaining match, particularly towards the end. Track wasn't at its best again.
No, the last few races, it was difficult to see really with all the dust that was coming up. I mean, as I saw on the roof of my car after the meeting,
it's still on the roof of my car. I mean, the one thing I will say is that I know that they were out on that track yesterday all day
And Sundays.
and on Sunday,
Yeah.
but putting water down and
I would just pull up.
hottest day of the year, wasn't it?
I would just pull up Pete Ade as well. A fantastic rider off Leon Fint.
I was going to mention
show,
that, yes.
that show. There was nothing wrong with the track.
Yeah, I mean that was a
section of the meeting.
cracking race, wasn't that?
Yeah.
And then Freddie was trying a couple of heats as well to come from the back.
Well,
yeah.
I was on the centre green for that heat 8, and there was very, very little room there. He didn't stuff him, but he left him minimum amount of room.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
Wasn't
yesterday.
Leicester riding quite tacted, like doing using all the lines? And,
There was a lot of, shall we say, moving riders over going on.
There was
close
quite a
to
bit.
the fence. Some of it, I think, was borderline. I don't think any of it went over the line, but it was certainly right on the line. But I mean, we've got to be the best value for money for the neutral at the moment, Birmingham, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Last 3 matches, last heat deciders.
Well, that's
lost every one of them. But
it was one of the bigger crowds last night, to be fair, as well, I thought as well.
Pete Clark says, can he have his dust back?
Yeah. Yeah, come round to my house, please. I'll take the dust that was off my car. I've got bags of it outside. So.
Brian Reeson, I visited Birmingham for the first time in ages. I enjoyed the meeting against Leicester yesterday. 2 issues concerning me were, why is there a gap in the safety fence on the 4th bend and dust everywhere? The gap in the safety fence has been there since
the track reopened in 2007.
Yeah, that's to allow the tractors to get on and off the track. It's done.
There have been occasions, to be fair, when that has actually caught riders out, hasn't it? So quite a few riders, but not so much in recent times.
No, because what they did was alter the line of the 4th bend, brought it in a little bit so that.
But I suppose we're not the only track with that, are we?
No, Wolverhampton used to be
Leicester on second bend.
Yeah, Leicester. So it's fairly accepted. Yeah, and the dust, I mean, what can I say? They watered and watered and watered and watered all day. I was there from 1 o'clock, and there was watering when I was there, and they didn't stop. Wasn't ideal.
I mean, you have to say as well, they are limited in the amount of time they can actually work on the track, which doesn't really help them. And that's a big advantage that Poland have got, is that they've got 24/7 access to work on their tracks. In this country, we don't have it, so. But
we're probably not the only track to have problems with the dust this year. There've been a few meetings, lots of other tracks as well.
It was the worst it's been this year. Yesterday, which I suppose again, hottest day of the year. It was so hot yesterday. That's all I can say about that. And if you've still got any, Pete will have it back off you.
Yep.
Yeah. So there we go. I thought Lindgren was going to win that last heat.
He was certainly going. You certainly couldn't fault his commitment in that race.
At the end of the 3rd lap, he was just trying to get through, and then he lost in the end.
I've got to say that once again, a slow start by him, and if he hadn't had such a slow start,
might have been different.
I've
got to say it was a great ride by Ryan Douglas, though, because he really did have a tiger on his tail, and he always rides the Birmingham track well anyway, doesn't he? But that was,
he only had that really one bad ride really in 13.
So usually, because he usually gets a maximum at Perry Bar, but he does. Yeah, he's always ridden the track very, very well. So,
Craig Smith says it was dusty at Bellevue last night as well. It was heavily watered before the meeting, and the track was a little heavy for 3 to 4 races before it dried out fairly quickly. And that's always been a problem at Birmingham. It's a nice problem to have, I guess, that it does dry very quickly.
Yeah.
Because the wind it's like a corridor, and the wind just whistles down.
Yes, anybody who stood on the centre green at Perry Bar will know what the wind is like. It's especially on a cold night.
Yes, absolutely. So another last heat decider, another 2-point loss.
Yep.
We've got to get one of these. Has got to be a win this year.
So I mean, the consolation is, as I say, well, you could say the performances are getting better. Well, the results, the defeats are getting smaller. I suppose that's another way you could put it. But I mean, it was a very good effort at Leicester last week at a track that Birmingham have got a horrific record at Leicester, haven't they, over the last few seasons? So you expected that to be the same again. They sort of did better. Bellevue, they sort of had it was a spirited effort at Bellevue as well. Oxford, obviously, we know about. Really, that should have been a win for Birmingham.
It should have been a win. Yeah. Did you see that last race? And your opinion?
Yeah, I thought it was the wrong decision, but. Sometimes you'll see decisions that'll go that way. I mean, if I suppose any Belvieu fans are watching will think back to earlier in the season, similar situation with Kurtz and Pavlichka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously.
I think it was. I mean, I got to say that people have said that. I think that was a totally different situation. Because I was there on.
Well, right under your nose.
I was right under my nose. I heard the bike's clatter. I heard him go into it. It wasn't just a touch. I actually heard the sound. So is
that why you run? Is that why you ran for cover?
Yeah, I always run for cover. But some you win, some you lose.
And I think like this, where you can look at probably like 1 or 2 riders before them that just let us down potentially. Different riders every week, so you can't pinpoint it.
I mean that's the thing.
They've never all fought on one night, have they? That's been the big problem.
If we had performed better, then that wouldn't have mattered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's it. So that's what you have to.
But as I say, for Leicester, I think that's 7 matches in a row and beating 6 points.
That's right.
6 points ahead of Oxford, and they've got a match in hand as well.
Because they're pulling up on the table now. There's nothing in there between the top 4.
Leicester at the moment look to be in the box seat for that last.
Oxford can't pull that. They've got Leicester tries and Kindling. I think that's all they've got.
The big problem for Oxford really is they've got no home advantage, have they? They've had many last heat decides at home as well because. So.
And they've
but they seem to win their last heat decide.
They do, yeah. So.
But they've de-strengthened themselves throughout the season as well.
Yeah, so it's 17 points from Leicester's last 7 matches. That's a phenomenal turnaround, really, isn't it? So
yeah. So Chris has finally remembered that we're on YouTube as well. So we've got a few questions coming up off YouTube. Brent Crosswell, who do you think that Ipswich are going to get without Jason and Emil not racing?
Well, I've heard Nichols is rising on Thursday.
Okay.
But then Arvin is just using RR and a desk because there's so many teams rising every week as well.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's 6 every week pretty much now, I think.
I mean, we're going to have the same problem at Sheffield.
There's only Bellew not
Pavlichka.
There's only Bellew not rising, I think, the next 2 days, I think. Is it?
Yeah.
But am I right in thinking Ipswich is our next?
No, it's the one after. It's been dropped. Because of the TV.
Okay.
It's Kindling Monday.
Okay, boost.
Yep,
we've got to beat King's Lynn.
Well, I think it is. Is it 13 matches? Is it
13 of it Thursday?
That is the record, I think. So obviously one more, and obviously Sheffield is the next one. So you would expect that record to be safely collected, unfortunately. But you never know.
Dave Albrighton said, good to see Wolves supporters at Birmingham last night keeping fight to get back on track. It was good. There was a lot of Wolves supporters there last night. It was a good crowd as well.
And Leicester brought a lot. Obviously, of course, the whole of our what is hopefully not our last ever team was all there as well. So,
but did we had a big team photo about 7 o'clock as well, but that didn't work.
Yeah.
Quite nice with all the riders.
Yeah.
Even we condemn all at the same time because they all got changed differently.
I was working, so I couldn't get down for that, but I would have been otherwise. So, but it's good to see, and it shows that there's still a big fight there. But obviously, it's all very, very quiet at the moment. Unfortunately, that we've just got to keep our fingers crossed that something will happen at some point. But
okay, Craig Smith, say it every week. Birmingham's entertainment and efforts this season are not shown by the points on the board, but they've been great to watch this season. I'm hoping they race next season and they have a stronger team that will challenge for honours. Seymour.
Well,
they seem to fall away towards the tail end of meetings when up against opposition heat leaders. I think that's got better with the inclusion of Lindgren.
It has, yeah.
I mean, there's one thing he was saying hope that they race next season. I can't say too much, but my gut feeling is that we will be racing next season, having heard some things over the past couple of days. So that's good. It's just whether
isn't the dogs aren't on paper to stay, aren't they? I think hopefully.
But that's what I'm hearing. But I can't say too much on it.
One thing as well I've noticed, if we hadn't had all these last heat decide where we'd turn the result the opposite way, we'd nowhere be near the bottom.
Gosh, I mean that's true.
Right.
That's true. But ifs and buts win nothing.
Yeah.
Susan Jordan says, hopefully Sedge or Steve Worrell back soon, so could replace Sicknote Pavlich.
I can't do that.
Can't do it.
Well, won't be back anyway. They've replaced him at Leicester, haven't they? Because he didn't look fit.
But it can't be done anyway because Pavlichki cannot be replaced by another rider.
They have to do it like
75%.
Has to be like for like.
Yeah. Personally speaking, I don't see Justin Sedgman coming back to Birmingham at all even in next season. So
is there much point for 4 matches, doesn't it?
So we can't sign anybody to replace him.
No, it's got to.
If we can get a 28-day ban, if that happens for whatever reason, then we can get guests because we'll have a 28-day facility which will take us to the end of the season. But other than that...
Do the clubs ask for that, or is that the BSPA just sort of stepping in?
I don't know. It's in the rule book.
Yeah.
It's in the rule book. That's all. I don't know where... I presume the promoters have voted it in themselves. Jeremiah Bullfrog scored 4+2 last night. Is that what Pavlichki would have scored? On a good night, he might have scored that.
Yeah.
Maybe more, wasn't it?
Even Sam Amer said in his interview, said the track went away from them. Was it not the same for both teams? Surely it was a case who wanted it the most. I don't think you can say that we did not want it.
Yeah.
But obviously, Leicester, they was going at it last night.
Yeah.
Really were
we
going at it.
keep talking about the track as well, don't we? Saying it doesn't work for us.
What have I said?
Can't keep blaming the track.
Keep blaming the track. You just can't. I don't think the track's been any different the past 6 or 7 matches. It's been what it is.
Yeah.
So other riders can ride it, so they need to as well. It's not the best the track's ever been.
No, I don't think it has. I think the track since the sport came back after COVID, I think obviously that year where it was lying empty and nobody was doing anything, I think that was the issue really with the Masons. They found it difficult to sort of get the track right.
I don't think they tried to. If I'm honest, I think they thought they could turn up and let's just go with the track as it is, and we know how that happened. The track is 30 times better than it was 3-4 seasons ago.
Yeah, it was. That year better. The track was dangerous. It was bordering on dangerous, wasn't it, at times?
So it has got better, and it's the times were really fast last night.
They were fast times. Yeah, it was a really fast time in Heat 1. So.
By Lampard, of all people.
Oh, yeah, Lampard,
I really, really, really like Victor Lampard. I think he's going to have a good year. If he comes back to British Speedway next year,
it's like
he's going to be
the last few weeks, it's really come on. At Leicester, he dated perfectly most of the night, but then he couldn't sort of keep the lead. He didn't have a track line.
Well, he didn't know the track, did he? It's Leicester's particular track, hasn't it? It's got a particular...
Yeah, but obviously next year he'll have that experience of riding on all the tracks, so, that he may well be on it. And obviously, of course, it'll be interesting to see what sort of average he finishes on as well.
Exactly, exactly. I think it's going to be attractive. People
5-6 pointer, yeah.
I hope we keep him.
Not necessarily to Birmingham, either. Other clubs
will be looking at him. Yeah, other clubs are going to be looking at Tom Brennan.
Yeah,
obviously Bellevue are going to be looking at Tom Brennan. You would think.
But would you go back after letting?
Yeah. If you're a rider and Bellevue comes calling, you go, don't you? Don't you? It's like if you're a rider and Paul comes calling.
I thought, to be fair, the signs last year was that he lost his way a little bit at Bellevue, and I think he needs the change. And I think going to Birmingham, even though the results for Birmingham haven't been good,
he's really come on.
He's come on as a rider.
While we're talking about him as a rider, Rider of the Week, as we do each week, and we're going to nominate one, including you. You don't get away with it. I'm going to say Tom Brennan because of the performance in the European Best Pairs. He got maximum, didn't they?
Did, yeah.
And well done, Leon Flint in that as well. To get to the final. Great. So that's where my nomination's going this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Ryan Douglas. I think primarily for that last night.
That was such an entertaining last heat. I'm fed up of being a team that entertains. I want to be a team that wins.
Elliot, you're rider of the week. One. Go on, Elliot.
I'm going to go with Freddie this week. He did really well on Thursday at Leicester to win the heat. With first heat when he got at the start of the night as well. He was really competitive last night and trying a different line the last 2 days. He's been riding hard.
It'll be interesting to see whether Freddie's back at Birmingham next year.
It will be interesting.
Is those family thing coming?
It'll be interesting to see if he'll be back in British Speedway next year.
Yeah. Because he's maybe not been quite at the level he has been in British seasons in the past, but...
And I
would have him back. Let me put it this way. I would love to have him back.
Obviously I'm biased, but I know that he's
a nice guy as well.
He'll probably get used in the playoffs, I bet, as well as a disc somehow as well.
Are any of you guys heading to Cardiff this weekend? I really hope he's disappeared. I really hope most people who watched the racing last season have decided to give it another go this season, and the crowd numbers are up. That's a good point. We will be talking about the GP in a minute. I'll be there this year taking my lad to his first GP, and I can't wait for it. Hopefully we can get back to home win. For the Brits, really hope Lambert breaks his duck and finally wins a GP. It'd be a great one to do it. Tom Brennan is Samantha Clark. Tom Brennan is such a superstar in my eyes. Love watching him ride. No matter his scores, always gives 100% and more. That's sort of why I was likening him to Bomber.
Yeah, interesting to see how he gets on Saturday, because he's going to have nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
He has ride there before, so it might have been knowledge in the 21s.
Right, yeah. Hopefully the track's better than it was
exactly.
That was awful. That heat climate wasn't, but it's different temperature this time.
Yeah.
So you're off to Cardiff.
Yes.
And I am.
Yeah, and you're off to Cardiff. Yes, I know. Yeah, we all know you're off to Cardiff.
I go every year, I do. I've not missed one yet.
So, hopes, who do you think's going to win, and who would you like to win?
Just let you know, we've got a visitor.
Okay.
The dog.
I would...
You really shouldn't talk about Elliot like that.
As someone said, it would be great for Robert Lambert if he could, I mean, I obviously saw a couple of years ago, didn't we? Dan Bewley he broke his duck at Cardiff. It's probably the one Grand Prix maybe where Bartos Marsdick's a little bit vulnerable. He has won at Cardiff, of course. I think it was 2018. I think
Somebody out there will tell us.
Yeah, but it's not a track I think that he likes.
Who had me on the sweepstake?
I wonder who that could be.
And
28 minutes past. Yeah.
Isn't Cardiff always all different winners as well every year? It's a bit hit.
I think it has been. I think there's only... Has anybody won it back-to-back? I don't think they have, actually.
They've won it like once every 3 or 4, but not actually back-to-back as such, I don't think.
Nobody... Well, no, one has won it, Crumpy.
Oh, yes.
2008 and 2009, he won it back-to-back. He's the only one to do it. So, on tracks that were probably not much better than there was a couple of years ago, really, but...
And we've only had one Brit ever win, haven't we?
Yeah. Two Brits.
Bomber and
Bewley.
Oh, Bewley, yeah.
Obviously, the big disappointment, of course, for Ty Wolfing that he's obviously not going to be fit enough to race there.
I was going to ask, I hadn't heard on that, so he's definitely...
Do you think that it might be his last year this year, or a wild card?
We think so.
I'm thinking so.
I think he was quite fortunate to get a pick last year.
Yeah,
it's going to be difficult for him to get.
And if you look at his performance in the first half,
I think it's going to be difficult for him to get a pick with the likes of Jason Doyle out there needing a pick as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for him.
And then if you're looking at what the really annoying thing is, you haven't Dr. Duta and Sitov in there as well, and they could put a whole battle if they went in there.
Martin Vashley could be a good outside base. Obviously, he won it last year. He's obviously won one Grand Prix this season. He's been a little bit inconsistent during the course of the season.
As is
Then this year, a different winner. I know Zalman's been consistent, but at least a different winner each round. It's actually quite close underneath him, actually.
It's actually Smarshlick is slowly pulling away. By default, almost. By consistency.
But then back up for second and third after that, then he's quite open then, because everyone's having a good round and a bad round.
Has he actually missed a final this year?
Nope, but I don't think so.
Every single one.
So there's your consistency.
So the problem is sometimes I think he doesn't do well in the main beam, but then he comes on at the end.
That's the way it works.
I mean, you can't really rule Freddie out either, because obviously he had that brilliant ride to win the last one when he beat Smarslick on home soil from the back in the final. Again, it's
Cardiff his sort of track.
Well, it's not too dissimilar to what Monmouth Green was really. So and he has had decent results there. I think the best he's done there was second. But, he's another one that could be a good outside bet as well, I think. So,
well, you got to nail your colours to the mast now. Who you going? Because we normally do a 1, 2, 3, don't we?
Yeah.
For the GP as a tiebreaker as much as anything for the. So should we do that?
We'll do that when we do the predictions.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So.
Okay. So we got a few here. Hopefully the rules will change next year, says Ben Cresswell. I'm not entirely sure which rule he's talking about. Ipswich has 3 matches in 10 days.
Yeah, but they have 4 at home as well.
Yeah.
Out of the house.
Ben, see this guy.
This is why we had him, isn't it?
Yeah. Ben Cresswell, Rider of the Week. Emil giving it 110%. I mean, that's not a bad shout, actually, after that.
It was a great battle. It was shaping up to be a great battle between him and Jack Calder, wasn't it? So,
Phil Taylor, rider of the week. Dan Thompson riding well for Ipswich and brilliantly for Plymouth, constantly scoring good points home and away.
Bear in mind, he's come back from that shoulder injury as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's good to see him doing well. Duncan Pemberton, regards Cardiff. I'm hoping Ty's on top form, nails it. It's not going to be there, unfortunately. We're talking about his DJ set in Walkabout.
Oh, yes, at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
How are we doing that?
Okay. Pete Clark, Elliot Stato Hunt. Okay.
Yes, I think we all know.
Yeah, we all know Pete.
Yeah, it is Hunt.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Hunt. We've had this joke already, haven't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, what about 11:30 last night?
Yes.
When we were still working at the. Can we have some violins? When we were still working at the track.
And everyone, some people are in bed.
John Hope says Ben could guest. Ben Barker, I presume.
Oh, I don't
think that's going to happen.
No, I don't have him. Don't think Burnham like him, do they?
Yeah, I'm not going to go down.
No, I don't like him either.
But I don't think Ben's going to be riding for us anytime soon, unfortunately.
Well, Bachelor's too high, isn't he?
I think, well, Basso's not racing here anymore, so and that's one that's gone. Right, so where are we on time? Look at my new fancy birthday present. There you go.
He's been waiting to plug that all after him, doesn't he? So,
Happy birthday, Mike.
Thank you.
happy 70th.
70th. I'll
Yo,
be lucky to
git.
get there. I'll be lucky to get there.
You're old enough to work in B&Q now.
B&Q couldn't afford me. Right. Okay, so I think we'll carry on talking, but we should just carry on talking about the GP.
Well,
then.
it is obviously the big one for us over in the UK. So
Never having been to a GP in Cardiff, if I was to walk in, what can I expect? Just from first impressions as you're walking up, what would sell the thing for me?
well, the good thing really about Cardiff is, and obviously you would have gone to Wembley.
Wembley, yeah.
Wembley obviously at the time was in an area that there wasn't a lot going on around there, was there? Whereas Cardiff is right in the middle of the city, so you've got all the bars, you've got all the restaurants, you've got museums, you've got the castle. So it's right in the heart of the city, so everything is within just a short distance. Going in through the turnstiles, it's obviously you go through the stairs. It's a bit, to be honest, the interior is a little bit bland, but what I did, and I've done this every single season I've been there. The first one I went to was the very first one in 2001, and deliberately did not look outside through into the stadium until I got to the top of the stairs where our arena was. And the first time you see it blows you away, because you can see it on the telly. That doesn't give a overall impression of what it looks like when you walk into this stadium and you see the track there. It just looks incredible, and it was a great thrill the first time I did it in 2001, and it's still you still get the same feeling when you do that now. A lot of people have argued that the novelty's worn off a little bit. Maybe to an extent it has, but it's still a great feeling. I think when you walk in there and you think we're going to be. I always remember Tony Rickardson's comment the first time they had it there. I think in one of the interviews he said, and the first thing he said was, "I walked in and thought, wow, we're going to race Speedway here."
Right.
That's that was it's still a fantastic place. The atmosphere and everything like that, especially when the roof's closed. And of course, the big thing with having the roof closed is, of course, that it can't be rained off. So,
will they have the roof closed?
They usually do.
Even if it's sunny, because it stops the track from drying out.
I think they do it regardless, don't they, I think?
Yeah, they might have the roof open slightly in the middle. They do that occasionally for the ventilation.
So I think sometimes they might open it before the meeting, but then close it when they start, before it's dry, yeah.
So, does it get hot?
Yes, it can do. It can do
Yes,
quite close.
it was horrendous a couple of years ago.
I remember that year when I was there in 22, when they had the Saturday, and it was and the Sunday at lunchtime was even worse.
Yeah,
it was like tractor racing at one point.
It was right in the middle of that long heat wave
Yes.
we had, wasn't it? So, yeah. And 2 days later, I had the Cardiff variant of COVID as well. So
The Cardiff variant.
yeah, I got COVID.
Cardiff.
I remember that year where they wouldn't even you couldn't even get any water or anything. It was that hot and ridiculous.
No.
Jeff Daniels says rider of the week. Ben Cook, top scoring for Lesno, and big scores for Paul and Bellevue.
He's going well at the moment, yeah.
I've got to say, Zach Cook did really well last night as well.
Yeah, he's done well since he came back, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Dave Twine, only been to one GP, the one that Bummer won, 2007.
Stato in there.
Pub before we went in had sawdust on the floor. Okay.
Going back that today.
Are you sure it was Cardiff you was in? Anyway, so your impressions of the GP, Elliot?
So you've got the big fan zone in the morning as well, on City Hall, which is a big atmosphere, like all the different the shows on with the riders and mountain biking and meet the riders, like the dancing and the food stalls on, and then you've got the city atmosphere as well, which is quite like with the bars and the cattle and things, which is quite live because I suppose there's some. Perhaps you don't see, you just at White Head, middle of nowhere, aren't you? So that's a kind of a mid-meeting as well. Obviously, you go into the Browne, it's like you don't realise how much closed in you are as well, and the atmosphere is so close, and the views. And I think just because you could, if there's all the way around as well, because a lot of big meet, you don't get to see that. People see actually every single angle, which quite good. And the track's obviously quite a close as well, because it's that temporary track. It just felt like every year it's slightly different as well, because they have to put the shell down. It's different aspects every year, and they bring people from all around the country, which is quite good. But the racing can be like it's quite a tight track as well in that respect, and that can sometimes open it up as well. And I think the fireworks at the end can be a quite good climax as well.
Well, it is when they don't open the roof for them. So you're watching them bouncing back off.
Is that true?
That is true. Yeah.
True?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes it bounces off and you can't see it. Was it one year that there wasn't very long either?
Yeah.
But there are things like just at the potential of all the different wides and the atmosphere. I think that's the fans in there as well, all the different countries coming in, because you read at the atmosphere, the Poles and the Australians and the Swedes like really bounced it up and chanting and things.
The year the Bartos Smiles won it felt like I was in Warsaw, not Cardiff. It was,
So many Poles that travel over as well. It's just surprised they actually live in this country as well.
Okay, so Nick Green has a question for us. I don't know the answer, so this is over to you guys.
I know the answer, but I'll see if anybody else.
Okay.
No, see if we'll get let people put on the.
Okay. Who won the first ever race at Cardiff?
Not even know that myself.
Okay.
I don't know. Come on.
I know it, but I'll let somebody else see if they get it.
Ben Cresswell wants to know, is the fan zone far away from the stadium?
It's about 10-15 minutes. It's the other side of town, isn't it, really?
It's been tending to move, hasn't it? Because at one point it was in one of the streets.
It's City Hall now.
Yeah, it's by City Hall, which isn't too. It's not too far. It's about 10 minutes.
10-15 minutes, yeah.
So.
But it's quite a big open space.
Yeah, I have to say the one thing that I do miss is the they used to have the fair in the building next to it. There's still
the memorabilia fair in the Woodby Club, Woodby thing. Yeah, that's still there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, of course, going in there quite a few times.
But the only problem is that's the opposite end to the fan zone as well, so does that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously, I remember going there and meeting Sean Moran and having my photograph taken with him.
Wow.
So
I don't think they use that as much as they used to. They keep a lot of the goose and the most of it's kept in the fan zone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, so.
Ben Creswell says he's going for his first GP this year, and this is on YouTube, by the way. Can't believe that they have only just started building the track. I thought it would need weeks to bed in.
I think they started about a few last weekend or something. They don't usually have a week, don't they?
They've only got a very limited time to get the track in and then get it out after.
But I think it takes long because they have to relay it, doesn't they?
Yeah, that's right. So.
But I mean, they got it spot on last year, didn't they?
Yes.
So hopefully they can do that
some
again.
pictures on. I don't know if you're talking about the pictures on social media because they've put some pictures of now what it's starting to look like coming together.
Right, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. P. Clark says, first time I went to Cardiff, I had to listen to Bonnie Tyler for 40 minutes.
Yes, I remember that. She didn't sound her best, to be fair.
Right.
I bet that was a hard take.
Nah.
Yeah. Jeremiah,
I'll tell you the best one was, and I think you would have liked to. Susie Quattro. I think she did the second year there in 2002. She was probably the best one they've had.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah.
Big fan of the Quattro.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Bullfrog says the stadium looks nothing like you see on the TV. It is awesome. Biggest thing to hit you is the noise. When Bummer won it must have been deafening. Shame on you, Mike, admitting you have never been.
It was deafening. It's probably a bigger roar that night than when Dan Bewley won it, I think.
I don't know why I've never been. It's just never hit at the right time when I can do it, I guess.
Isn't the talk of this is the end of the contract they've got as well? So what's going to happen next year?
I can't imagine Cardiff will not renegotiate a new
I was thinking that as well. But whenever people talk about Manchester, and I'm thinking they ain't done the work. Clean enough.
Bellevue, the Bellevue track, it would be
Track's
fantastic
up,
for a
it's not
Grand
big,
Prix,
but there's not
but
enough
the stadium isn't big enough.
And the infrastructure around it.
Yeah, there's nothing to do around there, is there? So, as I've said, you go into Cardiff and you walk out there, you've got the bars and pubs and things like that. You've got nothing like that walking out in Gorton, have you? So, unfortunately, so it's not in a great sort of venue for other entertainment, really.
Yeah, it's a good place to walk around as well, Cardiff, isn't it? It's nice.
This is not.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's a fantastic
And
city.
then there's plenty of other locations you can stop in, easily get to from there with the train station.
Yeah.
That's and the drive parking, yeah.
I think if I went, I probably would go on by train, but I don't know what the trains are like coming back.
Well, they're not striking, I don't think, this week.
No, I know we're stopping at Babby Island, so that's not too far, is it? Half an hour wise, yeah.
So, good.
I think we ought to get on to our predictions at some point in the near
I
future.
don't want to see this. I don't think it's... Let's have a look.
Right, okay. I'll try and get it up.
Big competition in the studio, and I always come last.
As
It's
big as I'm going to get it.
Pain of my
That's
life.
You're last this year, are you?
Say again?
You're not last this year, are you?
Of the three of us, yeah, at the moment.
Oh.
Always last. He's useless.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have got Simon Corbett in his customary position at the top, 150.
Can you read that? Because I can't.
I've got it on my screen here. So Rich Thomas, 144. Some bloke called Elliot Hunt, 142. Who's had a bit of a rise in recent weeks.
I've got a few correct, but you've just done a bit of a rise in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, then you got Dave Twine, Philip Gray, Gordon Gamble, me. I've dropped, unfortunately. Kev Lilly, John Bird, Andrew Green, Nick Skippy Matthews, Andrew Garner, Duncan Pemberton, John Turner, Julie Turner, Brian Buck, I know him, Dave Yates, Jeff Daniels, Chris Browne, Dylan, and everybody else there's rubbish.
Am I not in there then? Okay.
Yeah, you're the one, next one. You're 21st at the moment, 126.
I got up to 13th. And then...
Webby's 127.19. 127 points, not 127 years old, by the way. So.
Although he looks it. Okay. Shall we get on with this?
Right, so we'll go for the first one then.
Pete Clark says I'm not last this week. There's still time, Pete.
Yep, so the first one is in the Championship tomorrow night, Poole against Oxford.
That's going to be tasty, I think. It's up to you, Matt. You don't think you're not getting away with joining in, by the way?
Oh no, I've already done right.
Poole by 10.
Pull by 8.
Pool by 12.
Paul by 6.
Okay, next up is the Scottish Derby, Glasgow against Edinburgh, also in the Championship.
That's up to you, Chris.
It would be, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Edinburgh by 4. Sits back, watches everybody laugh.
Draw.
I knew you'd get one in somewhere.
Yeah, go on.
Glasgow by 10.
Leicester.
Glasgow.
Glasgow, yes.
Glasgow by 10 I'll go for. Okay. Sheffield against Birmingham is the next one.
Oh dear, it's up to me, isn't it? It always falls this way, doesn't it?
Yep. Is the record going to go on Thursday?
Yes.
No.
Sheffield by 12.
Sheffield by 12.
Sheffield by 14.
Sheffield by 10.
Craig Smith says Sheffield by 4. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
I would take that. Next one.
Ipswich against Leicester.
Ooh, that's up to you, Elliot.
Ipswich by 6. I think could be quite close with their.
We
probably
don't
the
know
top.
who's going to be riding for Ipswich, of course.
Well, I think they've said OR for Doyle, Nichols for Sunudanoff, but then you don't know what's happening with Cook either.
Mm-hmm. I'll go for Leicester by 2.
4.
I'm going to say Leicester by 4 as well. I think.
They're flying at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, I just think that sounds a weak Ipswich team.
Could be hard with Emerald as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also in the Premiership on Thursday, Oxford against Kings Lynn.
That's up to you.
Oxford by 10.
Oxford by 12.
I'm going to say Oxford by 12 as well.
Oxford by 10, I suppose. You don't know who Kingsley have got, but it's only value.
Okay. Okay, so the next one, we won't do the championship best pairs, although obviously wish everyone well in that one.
Yeah.
Next one is the big one on Saturday, the British GP.
Okay.
So we'll go for the usual policy, go for your top three.
And Chris always
Oh,
gets
get
first.
out of here. I don't even know who's riding. Maybe I should go last.
Shall we let him go last?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we should let the two people that are going to the GPs go first.
I think that's the rule.
Elliot.
Robert Lambert, Dan Bewley, Freddie Lindgren.
Okay.
I'll go for Freddie Lindgren to win it, Smarslick second, Martin Vashlik third.
You want to go last here?
I'm going to go Bewley, Schmarzlik, Lambert.
Okay.
Not a bad show. Bewley's won there before, so he knows what to
Of course,
expect.
yeah. I knew
I'm
that.
going to go Lambert, Lindgren, Bewley.
Okay.
I just want to see that you get close up to the top, if I'm honest.
Yep. That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
even Zarmlik at the fourth, or even in the top final, yeah.
Okay, then next up we've got the night of Premiership action on Monday, Leicester against Oxford.
I'll do that one. Well, that's going to be a big Leicester win, I think. So 14 to Leicester.
I think realistically now Oxford, if they're going to get into that top four, they've got to win that meeting.
I'm at Oxford double, and is it Kingsley and double as well, or something like Doric's once? I'm not.
Yep.
I just made around what it is after those home.
Oxford
Your,
need to.
your pick.
Leicester by 10.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Leicester by 12, yeah.
I'm going Leicester by 12 as well. Leicester by 12.
Okay.
Ipswich against Sheffield is the next one on Monday night.
Well,
That's
that could be tricky because you don't think of who's destined for tie, but it's going to be RR or something.
no, we don't. But you've got to pick
I
one.
know, 47-43 to Ipswich.
You'll go.
Draw.
Interesting.
Ipswich by 4.
I'm also going to go draw.
It's twice. You've got me.
Yeah.
It's like I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, last but by no means least, it's Birmingham against Kings Lynn.
And this is up to you, Matt.
Birmingham by 4.
Go on, Birmingham by 2.
Birmingham by 6.
Yeah, I think Byrne could break it on Monday with a 6-point win.
It's got to come good for Birmingham at some point, isn't
And
it?
it's Kindling as well if you can't beat them at home.
I just don't want there to be a last heat decider. Just
That's why
want
I'm
us to have
saying
already
6.
won it.
Well,
by the time
it
we
doesn't
get
matter
to
if Birmingham.
11.
If it's a Birmingham win on the last day decider, then you'll be
Yeah, but we've never won one.
skipping out the stadium. Well, no, please don't do that. That's not a nice thought, that isn't it? So,
No, not for anybody. Least of all me.
yeah.
Duncan Pemberton says, "Brum will beat Lynn." Come on, Brummies!
Is that how he talks?
That's the way he talks, apparently.
Okay.
Well, he needs to do one of the walkways there.
Yeah. No, let's not do that. That's
We won't
Chris's
talk about
favourite
Warden.
thing.
Oh, we've done that.
Okay, that's all done. Okay, is that the end of
That's
the...
it, yep.
Yeah.
It's because we've got all the championship nights taken up by the Grand Prix and the pairs.
That's right, yeah. So it is predominantly.
So nobody's answered our question. Who was the first rider to win a race at Cardiff? Not our question. We've come off the shout box, of course. So should we give you another couple more minutes to have a go at answering that, guys? Shove it on the shout box. Who do you think?
No
You are
one's,
kidding, Mr. Hitler. No, sorry.
I think so far Dan Thompson is winning with the Rider of the Week.
Okay.
So there you go.
Get your votes in for that as well. Get your votes in for that.
Klingberg.
No.
That wasn't.
I think he was in the first race. I think, if I remember right, he was fourth in the meeting, but he didn't.
Craig Smith says Jason.
Wasn't Crumpy either, no.
Was you there?
I was there, yeah.
Okay.
Short trousers.
Wouldn't say short trousers. Slightly slimmer than I am now, I think. But,
He's in short trousers now. He's just
No, yeah, and I am actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just.
thank
It's
goodness
just.
you're sitting there. And
Yeah.
Jason Crump.
no, it wasn't Crumpy.
Wasn't Crumpy. Yeah, I'm saying that as if I know. I don't. I have absolutely no idea.
Who do we think to finish what placed in the top 4? Have you got your heads on that yet?
For the Premiership,
Yeah.
part of me is saying I don't care.
I was going to say Ipswich would finish top, but then after sit off things, I'm thinking Sheffield.
Ipswich aren't going to finish top, are they? I don't think.
I did before last week, but no, I've not off it, yeah.
I think I think that whoever finishes first, and I think it's probably going to be Sheffield.
Yeah.
I think you choose Ipswich.
No, you've got no choice, have you? First versus
No,
fourth.
you haven't got a choice now, no.
No. So they've got to have whoever finishes fourth, which is probably going to be Leicester.
I was thinking originally it should Leicester, Sheffield, Bellew.
Which is not a nice one to
I was
have.
originally thinking it's Leicester, Sheffield, Bellew for the playoffs, but now I'm thinking, well, Leicester even scrape into third.
Leicester could be a threat in the playoffs, I think, if they keep the form.
Yeah.
The playoffs were
It's
now.
just
If the playoffs were now, I think you would really fancy Ipswich, Leicester to be.
Oh, you've only got one more home match as well.
John Hope says it was Tony Rickardson.
Tony Rickardson won the meeting, but he didn't win the first race.
Okay.
And it wasn't.
Hancock.
Sorry, Rich, it wasn't Greg Hancock.
Another thing I'm thinking about, Bellew don't have to look against Sheffield, and they've got them twice.
Yeah.
Then they've only got one home match left as well. Compared to the others, so
That's it.
Wasn't Scotty Nichols, was it?
Yes.
It was.
It was Scott.
Total guess.
Don't be
Total
there.
guess.
You can't do the playoffs either because they'll be on you.
Total guess. I was
Yeah.
just thinking 2001 who would have
So
been.
the guess, the clue would have been this rider's still riding now, which probably would have been a big giveaway, I think.
Oh.
But no, it was Scott Nichols from the outside gate as well. I think he flew across, and I think that was pretty appropriate. I think it was the first, that was seen as the biggest British meeting in 20 years since the closure of Wembley to Speedway, and it was a British rider that won the first race.
Has Scott Nichols ever done that brilliant at Cardiff? I don't think.
I think he got to the final once.
Yeah,
Just the
and-
tapes
and
and
he would touch the tapes, didn't he?
Might have been the year after Bomber won it,
I think that's right. Yeah.
because I think he did.
You heard this groan go all the way around.
Yeah, I think it. Obviously, a part of him would have been placed with Bomber, but I think he was hurt by the fact that Bomber pipped him to become the first British winner of and obviously Scott unfortunately never managed to win a Grand Prix. So,
Mike, you good at something? Mike, you good at something?
Yeah, you're not good at turning your mic up, apparently.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, total guess. I was just trying to think who would have been around, and the name Scott Nichols popped into my head. So, there you go. Nichols got to the final the following year
Yeah, he
after
did.
Bomber, then went through the tapes off one. Yeah, it was off one as well.
yeah, and then the following year, of course, he got into a slight disagreement with Emil.
Where was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was 15 years ago. Doesn't feel that long.
It's a shame Emil's not riding in
That's right.
in the GPs.
There's actually more people watched that video of that fight on YouTube than have watched the Bombers win, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the favourite quote of Ty Woffenden, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Saying that there should be that more. But I would counter with how many of those people have gone on to go to watch Speedway for the first time.
So,
Probably not many.
If you took Zarmalik out of the rankings, who do you think would actually win the whole series?
I think it'd be quite difficult, actually.
Possibly Lingard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freddie, it could be Jack Holder as well.
Vasiliks tends to be a little bit too inconsistent, doesn't he?
Same as our British lads, they're a bit up and down.
David's mentioned the crowd at Cardiff. It's not been that good, has it?
It used to have a heyday, didn't it, when it started on down a bit?
Well,
like
I think it suffered a couple of years ago, didn't it, when the track was
Yeah.
and they had the whole fiasco that surrounded.
Well, hopefully, the fact that it was so good last year, hopefully, will sort of entice a few more
haven't
people
they
to
dropped
come
some of the prices in some of the sections as well to try and pull people in as well? Yeah.
They have, I think.
It's
So-
good value, isn't it? Actually, I think the
it's
Cardiff GP.
my ticket. What was my ticket? About £25. That's not too bad that's pretty good for a major event.
Depends on where you
Major
wanna-
event in a major
Depends on where
stadium.
you want to sit as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the first bend is the most expensive part.
I'm on the back
of
straight,
stage,
and that back straight on tin, that's not cheap.
yeah, back
either,
straight. The cheapest part of the back straight and the third and fourth bend. So
If everyone knows you want a middle or top tier, isn't it, as well?
yeah, that's right.
That's good value.
So that's really that is really. That's
But the thing is,
it's not
I
much
think a lot
cheaper
of
to get
people
to
want
go
to
to a
rather
Premiership
drive
match
down because
these
hotels
days.
aren't cheap as well. It's a bit of that.
Yeah, well, we're driving down, so it's,
Well, they changed the times because of that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that people could get back.
You try going to a League One football match
For
for 20
25
quid, you know
quid,
what I mean?
Trying for some speedway clubs, 25 quid, you can't do that. Some clubs are over.
Pete Clark says, and I've no idea what he's talking about here. Presumably you will. Are we not having the sprint races this
there a
year?
Yes, Friday
there is-
afternoon.
Yes, Friday afternoon,
Okay.
isn't it? There's a
So the
sprint race.
first 3,000 can get in if you don't have a ticket and a program, I believe. They're having the practice and they're having the best four from the timings and they do a race.
Yeah.
And then we did
Okay.
4, is it 4, 3, 2, 1 or something?
Yeah, that's right.
They did one more this year. They did one. Was it Poland or something? They've done one this year.
Yeah, they've done one. They did one in Warsaw. So.
Warsaw, that's it. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Does that count towards
Yes,
anything?
counts towards the standings. Yes.
Yeah, it does.
So if Zalman doesn't win, so someone that was somewhere in the middle of that match could help someone in that middle, second to
Right.
fifth.
I didn't
Close it
know
up.
about that. Dave Twine said 2007 there was a 41,000 crowd.
Wow.
Probably what?
67,
67, is it? Yeah.
Bear
yeah.
in
I think
mind-
it's still considered.
Bear
the
in mind
GP,
as well that
isn't it?
not all of the stadium can be used. The seats are right at the front.
So all the lower
it's too
tiers not
close.
normally open, it's just usually the top two in the last
That's
couple
right,
of
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You used to have the lower tier at one point at the back, but they've changed it now.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you've put me back up again. That's okay.
Was it last year about 20,000 or something, was it? Or was it less? I don't know.
Something like that, wasn't it? It wasn't as great. It was quite. Actually, it was 2022 was quite a big crowd, but because obviously it had been it was the first one in 3 years after COVID.
Yes.
But, of course, it was a disaster, and really, and I think that affected the crowd the following season.
Yeah, I think it definitely.
But I said last year's was probably the most important one there since it was moved there because they had to get it right
They had
last
to
year.
get it right, and they did.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they
let's
did.
be
They
honest.
did
I mean,
fair
they did
play
all
to
the
them.
right things as well. We were bringing media in to show that the practice match that they had before,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
night
yes.
before, and all that.
I think
so-
a lot of that wasn't it the storage of the Shalford 22 as well? Because I think they keep it in a set place, don't
Yeah,
they?
I think they did. Yeah,
Dave Twine says it holds 62,500. I'm not sure that
Okay.
it does for Speedway because they fence some of the
Yeah.
The fence lines the lower tier off.
don't they? So it might be a slightly lower full capacity than that. But one thing's for sure, it holds more than Bellevue.
yes, it does.
Well, you can only do about 4 if they haven't got the extra seating, to be honest.
Right, well, we're nearly at the end of the show. Elliot, have you enjoyed your time here?
Yes, been really interesting.
Would you like to come back and report on all the matches that you've seen this week, next week, including the GP? Next Tuesday, are you able to come back?
That would be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, love to have you here.
Our door is always open, except
When it's closed.
Yep.
There you go. Wow. I feel bad that I got that.
He's been waiting to
Okay.
say that all evening, hasn't he? So.
I think so. Okay, well, lads, enjoy your time at the GP. Let's
Yeah.
hope for a British win. Let's hope if there is a British win that some of the papers at least run with it. And
Well, they didn't when
There was
Dan
so much
Bearden
on the
won it.
press with
No,
Emerald
they didn't.
earlier. I don't know if that was the thing. Someone with Emerald said something about his injury.
well, they like bad news, don't they?
That was bad news, yeah.
Right, oh gosh, that means we are
That's
about
his
to
way
go.
of telling us,
Yeah,
shut up.
we've had enough now, he said. Duncan Pemberton says, well done, Elias.
Good stuff.
There you go. Well, see you all next week. Enjoy your time at the GP if you're off there. If you're not, enjoy it on the box like me. See you soon. Good night.
Good night.
good night.
Enjoy your stay. Wedding, GA, and man, I'm here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern.